So if you are not aware of the karma and you are just trying to wade your through path through the jungle of events and reactions and actions that are happening in your life, you will be completely blinded. Jyotish is such an important aspect of life, of sadhana, of the Vedas, that it has been given the status of a Vedanga, which means that without a knowledge of Jyotisha, you cannot even study the Vedas. So there are, among the various Vedangas that are there, the Angas, the limbs of the Vedas, Jyotisha is considered to be an eye of the Vedas. Eye means it gives you vision, gives you sight. So the importance of Jyotisha comes even more prominently when you read the sadhana texts, tantras and all that. For example, in the Ugratara Kavacham, there are specific nakshatras and details mentioned when, if you do those prayogas, do sadhanas, certain kinds of results will come. So eventually, if you don't know Jyotisha, Jyotisha is nothing but a map of the karmas of a particular place, time, or individual. So if you are not aware of the karma and you are just trying to wade your through path through the jungle of events and reactions and actions that are happening in your life, you will be completely blinded. I mean, unless you are a soul which is like a rishi, genuine rishi, not somebody who claims self-proclaimed rishis and all that. One of the Vedic rishis, even them also, they also refer to Jyotisha. So unless you are that kind of a pure soul, you are very likely to go haywire here and there. So any claims that a sadhak doesn't need Jyotish is absolute nonsense, first of all. One statement answer is that it should be completely rejected, because that is not what the experience of Devata Upasana, historical experience of Devata Upasana tells us. So somebody of the caliber even of Yukteshwar Giri Maharaj, who was a direct disciple of Lahiri Mahashaya, and Yukteshwar Giri was a person who could enter into the states of Samadhi, Nirvikalpa Samadhi. I mean, not even, ordinary caliber, just some random yogi. No, no. We are talking about some of the highest spiritual people. He used to still refer to Jyotisha even at a very late age, and this is recorded in the texts of Paramahamsa Yogananda. So Jyotish does not need anybody's validation. It's already well established as a spiritual art. The caution that needs to be followed is that you do not constantly get up in the morning and start checking which graha is going which side, because that is going to weaken your mind. So your aim is that you should have a singular pointed devotion towards your Ishta Devata. So if you're worshipping Tara, then Tara. If you're worshipping Bhairava, then Bhairava. You have to believe that there are 9 grahas, and beyond the 9 graha, there's Anugraha. Anugraha can change everything. In order to do that, however, you need very intense amount of self-surrender and self-sacrifice, not tapasya alone. Just because by the power of dint of tapasya in this Kali Yuga, you will not be able to please any deity, because everybody is corrupted and flawed. This is the first principle of Kali Yuga. Because that is the case, therefore, you will need to have what is called a path of surrenderance, which is tempered, or which is, built up through a ritualistic process, because the deities also love, specifically some deities love that karma kanda that is being done. So there is a confluence of karma kanda. After karmas, you do karma kanda, whether you are doing japa of the deity or puja of the deity, or whatever way, or interacting or doing seva of a yantra, etc. Over time, this will lead to jnana. As you keep doing it, it will it will cause purification in your chitta. All the different kinds of impurities, the karmic stains will reduce. There will be clarity in your chitta. Once the clarity comes, then only the impression, the resonance of the deity will fall inside you. And then from there, your actual bhakti will start. So all these things are tied together. What Jyotisha can do is, and it does very brilliantly, is that it tells you that what are the basic guidances of the times. Suppose there are certain doshas in a horoscope, certain kinds of difficulties that are going to happen due to planets. That is precisely why none less than Rishi Parashara, one of the greatest of Vedic rishis, tells us that when this kind of graha combinations are there, this is the kind of sadhana you have to do in order to minimize the effect of the grahas. And it is absolutely important. Only a complete, an egoistic fool, I say this because it's one thing to say that no, I don't believe in Jyotisha and just sadhana. It's another thing to be that pure a soul who is really not affected by the positives and negatives of life. Yes, if a person has become completely sthita prajna, as the Gita explains, then it is different. But that is a state so high that I have not even seen three people in my life who can be claimed as complete state of sthita prajna, where they are not affected by pleasure, not affected by pain, they're not affected by criticism, they're not affected by praise. It's very rare. It's actually a very high spiritual state. When that is there, yes. But for everybody else, a verbal claim means nothing. So if you are an individual who gets affected by what is happening around you, it is affected by good and the bad that is coming, praise and criticism that is coming, then 100% you are at the influence and the mercy of your own karmas. In that case, Jyotish becomes a guiding light of how to reach, how to optimize your karmas in a way that it helps you progress faster. What are the things that you can change? What are the things that you cannot change and you have to accept? Jyotish gives you this guidance very brilliantly. And that is why this divine art was given to us by none other than the rishis. It is not something that randomly came up. It is the Rishi Vidya, rishis who gave us this knowledge, precisely for this reason, that you take it as a broad guidance. For example, there's a certain graha combination happening at this point. So this is the kind of upasana if you do, then it helps you overcome this challenge. So that is why this is given. That is why it is given for the benefit of the world, and especially also for the benefit of upasakas. I mean, I have not seen any high caliber, genuine upasaka who says that there is no need for Jyotish. I mean, really, somebody who has no clue, who's perhaps handicapped by his or her lack of knowledge, who believes in such fantastic ideas and spreads this kind of rubbish actually. So have a clear understanding of Jyotisha, use the knowledge of Jyotisha correctly for pariharams, along with worshipping your Ishtadevata. These two go parallel.